tuning in. The Mustangs TD streamed on www.OUA.tv all around the world. OUA women's hockey action on your Saturday evening, as it is the Western Mustangs entering with a 19-1-3 record, good for first in the OUA, that is, good for 41 points. Their opponent tonight, the 11th in the OUA, UOIT Ridgebacks, Mike, and every opponent cannot be taken lightly here in the OUA. That is the case this evening, as although the Ridgebacks have no mathematical probability of getting into the postseason and the Mustangs have locked up mathematically first place, hey, they can still play spoilers, if you will, on your Saturday evening.
Yeah, well, I spoke to Coach Chris Higgins before the game. Hope to get the Western Mustangs their first ever 20-win season.
The puck is dropped and away we go. And if you noticed, everybody but Nicole French is a graduating senior on the ice for Chris Higgins and the girls. One thing you see in a common theme in the OUA women's hockey, which I really like, is during seniors night, they usually dress the jerseys of the seniors that are being honored above the bench. And you see it above the coaching staff of the Western Mustangs: Campbell, Scott, Rosen, the Cassidy Gosling and Caitlin, her sister, Turk, Galloway, Kidd. The list goes on and on. It's sad to say that this is the last regular season game for these girls, but you know what? They have represented the purple and white proudly over their tenure here at the university.
And there it is, all the jerseys all hanging nice up behind the bench.
Deflected by the stick of Tori Campbell to the near wall. Cassidy Gosling transitioned it back to the blue line to Islino. Long shot, again hits the stick of Campbell and then gloves it off the backboards. Hi-yo, I love it. Flash in the mitt.
Tori Campbell definitely just kind of went off the boards and then came back, and as she was turning around, she noticed it and just caught it like a center fielder out there.
And one thing I'm going to just throw out there, too, on the back of Tori Campbell's mask is Monsters Incorporated cartoons. On the back of Kelly Campbell's mask, Minions. So Campbell's, maybe they think alike, as you got some cartoonish characters on both respective buckets of the tenders. Trying to clear it for the Ridgebacks, as she does in Nicole Gorda. The buzzer goes after 20 minutes of play. The score is 0-0 in the battle of the Campbells, Tori Campbell and Kelly Campbell. But as I mentioned already in this first period of play, Tori stealing the show.
Yeah, Tori Campbell, she's been pretty good so far. The Western Mustangs creating a lot of pressure in their zone.
Back up to you, boys.
Very much for that interview with the assistant captain from Toronto, Ontario, and Casey Rosen. 2 goals so far on the season. I know she's probably looking for number 3 in her final OUA regulation game of her career. For Tyler Warren, Michael DeStefano, I am John Urban. Goose eggs are on the board from Thompson Arena. We will catch you around for the other side of second period action. Kelly Campbell is going to be replaced by Katie Jacobs. This is an interesting decision by Chris Higgins. As Campbell goes to the bench, we faced a situation last night where Campbell was faced with the opportunity of either leaving the game or putting on Peyton Parker's mask. She put on Peyton Parker's mask for a couple minutes and then changed it up. But halfway through this game, having the playoffs locked up, Chris Higgins is elected to pull his starting goaltender in favor of the backup, and Casey Rosen scores! Up on the board, the Western Mustangs score. From my words to her mouth, her 3rd goal of the season.
Casey Rosen comes in, her final game here at Thompson Arena of the regular season, and she gets herself a goal.
Can they get an insurance marker before going off to the locker room for the second time this evening? Clapham in the hash marks. Her backhander went wide, then Galloway with an empty net, and she scores! Allie Galloway gets her first goal of the 2014-15 season in her last regular season game of her OUA career.
Well, you talk about a storybook ending. Allie Galloway scoreless the entire season. And then finally, she goes out there and
they give some love to Jacobs. I love that. Sorry, Mike.
But you talk about it, the power play goes out and gets it done for the Western Mustangs.
So when Galloway went down to Katie Jacobs, who entered this game about just a little less than halfway through the second period in relief of Kelly Campbell, who started the contest, On the other side of the rink, something that I did like to see was the Ridgebacks go up to their goaltender and Tori Campbell and kind of give her a pat on the head saying, you know, it's not your fault. You're keeping us in it. The score could be completely out of hand by now.
Broad will get the assist on that, and that'll tie Lisa Stathopoulos for the league lead in points during the regular season.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Stathopoulos got 4 points last night for the York Lions, so unfortunately that's not the case. I'm with you, though. We want to see the Broadway show be on top of the OUA women's point race, but Lisa Stathopoulos, give credit where credit is due, the captain of the York Lions on a squad that, let's face it, is beneath the pack in the OUA, but still racking up the points, is Lisa Stathopoulos for the York Lions. She all but has locked up the OUA queen, if you will, of the points this year. Barring, though, we still got the third period, and Kendra Broad, we know she can practically do anything. Does she have 4 or 5 points in the bag over 20 minutes, though? Thank you very much, Tyler Warren, with the 5th year. Allie Galloway from Kitchener, Ontario, had 4 assists coming into her 24th game of the season. And like you mentioned, Michael DeStefano, you couldn't write up the script any better. She gets the first goal of the 2014-15 season in the final regular season game of the year, and sadly, her final regular season game of her OUA career. So, for Michael DeStefano, Tyler Warren at ice level, I am John Urban. The score is 2-0, courtesy of 2 seniors that were honored before puck drop, and Casey Rosen and Allie Galloway. We will catch you around for the third period of action here on your Saturday evening from Thompson Arena. The Mustangs, 4 girls, barge into the near side, and they move it back to the blue line to Laces. Galloway trying to go to the hash marks to Clapham. Clapham backdoor to Broad. Broad trying to get it around Tori Campbell, and they score! Kendra Broad scores for the Western Mustangs. A power play marker. Melissa Burney makes a strong stroll from the sin bin doors to her bench with Karen Nystrom staring her down.
Kendra Broad, goal number 15, power play marker number 18 for her.
They call a timeout when you're 3-0. Just get out of Dodge while you still can. But, you know, Karen Nystrom, she played for the Team Canada seniors team in women's competition. She knows the heart and soul that goes into these competitors, and she's doing the right thing. Pavlisco, Bernie, Spencer, Sisson, and Wiesenthal will all go onto the ice. Tori Campbell will go back between the pipes, though, to round out these last 39 seconds of the game. Got to her teammate Cassie Gosling in the dying seconds, hacked down to the ice, and the buzzer will go. That ends the game. The Mustangs prevail 3-0 and improve to 21-3. An outstanding year during the regular season for these Western Mustangs, as they're ranked 3rd nationally. But in my opinion, they should be ranked 1st. No other team in the CIS only lost 1 time during regulation.
20 victories. They honestly deserve it.
Taking a look at the Ridgebacks, Mike, they know that this is the last game of the year for themselves, so they take a little extra time to celebrate with themselves, despite the fact that they don't make the postseason. Then they'll wind up with a 7-15-2 record, probably finish 11th in the OUA. At least they have hope to build on for the future for Karen Nystrom and the Ridgebacks.
As they head into the playoffs.
For Michael DeStefano, Tyler Warren at ice level, I am John Urban on behalf of all of our camera crew working hard, our people in the booth. A reminder that this is unfortunately the last regular season game here on Mustangs television. But what we do have in store for you is OUA women's hockey playoffs starting next week, as you're taking a look at some of the highlights of the men from earlier today on your Saturday afternoon, as they fell victim to the Lakehead Thunderwolves and were eliminated. So, from Michael DeStefano, Tyler Warren,
Scales tried to send it out to Clapham, who had 2 goals in that game.
Laces with a long shot, tipped right onto Campbell. Stay safe until next time.